There is potential liability associated with inspecting and maintaining circuit breakers for an insurance company. If proper qualifications are not met or the inspection and maintenance are not performed according to industry standards, liability could arise for any damages or injuries resulting from the work. When performing an inspection, thoroughly inspect all circuit breakers for loose connections, signs of overheating, or any other abnormalities. Use a non-contact voltage tester to verify that all circuit breakers are de-energized before starting the inspection. If any loose connections or signs of overheating are found, tighten the connections or replace the affected circuit breakers. Use only original equipment manufacturer replacement parts. FPE Stab-Lok type circuit breakers are known to have potential safety issues and are no longer recommended for use. If replacement is requested, recommend and install a modern and safer type of circuit breaker. When performing a replacement procedure, follow the manufacturer's instructions for replacing circuit breakers. Ensure that the new circuit breakers are properly sized for the circuit and have the correct trip characteristics. Ensure proper qualification by being licensed and certified to work on electrical equipment. Adhere to industry standards such as the National Electrical Code when performing the inspection and maintenance. Keep a detailed record of the inspection and maintenance activities, including any repairs or replacements. Carry adequate insurance coverage to protect yourself from potential liability claims. If there are any concerns or questions about the inspection or maintenance procedures, consult with a qualified electrical engineer. When inspecting circuit breakers, look for several key indicators of potential problems. Firstly, check for any visible signs of damage to the circuit breaker housing, such as cracks, chips, or discoloration. These could indicate that the breaker has been exposed to excessive heat or physical stress. Secondly, examine the connections to the circuit breaker. Look for loose connections, corrosion, or any signs of arcing. Loose connections can cause the circuit to overheat, which can lead to a fire. Thirdly, use a non-contact voltage tester to ensure that the circuit breaker is de-energized before you begin any work. This will help to protect you from electrical shock. Fourthly, pay attention to the smell of the circuit breaker. A burning smell could indicate that the breaker is overheating or that there is a problem with the wiring. Fifthly, test the circuit breaker to make sure that it is tripping properly. This can be done using a circuit breaker tester. If the circuit breaker does not trip when it is supposed to, it could be a sign that it is faulty. When maintaining circuit breakers, there are several steps that should be taken to ensure that they are functioning properly. Firstly, tighten any loose connections. This will help to prevent overheating and arcing. Secondly, clean any corrosion from the connections. Corrosion can interfere with the flow of electricity and can also lead to overheating. Thirdly, replace any damaged circuit breakers. Damaged circuit breakers can be a safety hazard and should be replaced as soon as possible. Fourthly, lubricate the moving parts of the circuit breaker. This will help to keep it functioning smoothly. Fifthly, test the circuit breaker to make sure that it is tripping properly. This will help to ensure that it is protecting the circuit from overloads and short circuits. FPE Stab-Lok circuit breakers have a history of problems and should be replaced with a more reliable type of circuit breaker. Firstly, these circuit breakers have been known to fail to trip in response to an overload or short circuit, which can lead to a fire. Secondly, they are more likely to overheat than other types of circuit breakers. Thirdly, they are more likely to be damaged by corrosion. Fourthly, they are more difficult to test than other types of circuit breakers. Fifthly, they are no longer manufactured, so replacement parts can be difficult to find. When replacing circuit breakers, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. Firstly, turn off the power to the circuit breaker. Secondly, remove the old circuit breaker. Thirdly, install the new circuit breaker. Fourthly, turn the power back onto the circuit breaker. Fifthly, test the circuit breaker to make sure that it is tripping properly. It is important to be properly qualified to work on electrical equipment. Firstly, ensure you are licensed and certified to perform electrical work in your jurisdiction. Secondly, obtain proper training in electrical safety and maintenance procedures. Thirdly, stay up to date on the latest electrical codes and standards. Fourthly, use appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and safety glasses. Fifthly, work with a qualified electrician if you are not comfortable performing the work yourself. Adhering to industry standards is essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical systems. Firstly, follow the National Electrical Code, which provides comprehensive guidelines for electrical installations. Secondly, consult with other relevant standards, such as those published by the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. Thirdly, use approved equipment and materials. Fourthly, inspect electrical systems regularly to identify and correct any potential problems. Fifthly, keep accurate records of all electrical work performed. Proper documentation is essential for tracking and maintaining electrical systems. Firstly, keep a detailed record of all inspections, maintenance, and repairs. Secondly, include the date, time, and location of the work performed. Thirdly, identify the specific equipment that was worked on. Fourthly, describe the work that was performed. Fifthly, note any problems that were found and how they were corrected. Adequate insurance coverage is crucial for protecting yourself from potential liability claims. Firstly, carry general liability insurance to cover property damage or bodily injury caused by your work. Secondly, consider professional liability insurance to cover errors or omissions in your work. Thirdly, ensure that your insurance policy covers the type of work you are performing. Fourthly, review your insurance policy regularly to make sure that it provides adequate coverage. Fifthly, consult with an insurance professional to discuss your specific needs. Consulting with an expert can provide valuable insights and guidance. Firstly, seek advice from a qualified electrical engineer for complex or unusual electrical problems. Secondly, consult with an experienced electrician for routine electrical work. Thirdly, attend electrical safety training courses to stay up to date in the latest codes and standards. Fourthly, participate in industry conferences and workshops to learn from other professionals. Fifthly, network with other electrical professionals to share knowledge and best practices. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, is a widely adopted standard for the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment in the United States. It is updated every 3 years, and it covers a wide range of topics including wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and equipment installation. The NEC is not a law, but it is often adopted by state and local governments as part of their built-in codes. Firstly, Chapter 1 of the NEC covers general requirement. Secondly, Chapter 2 covers wiring and protection. Thirdly, Chapter 3 covers wiring methods and materials. Fourthly, Chapter 4 covers equipment for general use. Fifthly, Chapter 5 covers special occupancies. Sixthly, Chapter 6 covers special equipment. Seventhly, Chapter 7 covers special conditions. Eighthly, Chapter 8 covers communications systems. Ninthly, Chapter 9 contains tables and examples. Article 90.1 of the NEC covers the purpose of the code. It states that the purpose of this code is the practical safeguarding of persons and property from hazards arising from the use of electricity. Article 110.2 of the NEC covers approval of equipment. It states that the conductors and equipment required or permitted by this code shall be acceptable only if approved. Article 110.3 of the NEC covers examination, identification, installation, and use of equipment. Part A covers examination. Part B covers installation and use. Part C covers interrupting rating. The interrupting rating of equipment is the maximum short-circuit current that the equipment can safely interrupt. Article 110.12 of the NEC covers mechanical execution of work. It states that electrical equipment shall be installed in a neat and workmanlike manner. Article 110.14 covers electrical connections. Part A covers terminals. Part B covers splicing. Part C covers temperature limitations. Article 210.8 of the NEC covers ground fault circuit interrupter protection for personnel. It requires ground fault circuit interrupter protection for receptacles in certain locations such as bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor areas. Article 215.9 of the NEC covers ground fault protection for equipment. It requires ground fault protection for equipment in certain locations, such as industrial and commercial facilities. Article 230.95 of the NEC covers ground fault protection of equipment services. It requires ground fault protection for services in certain locations, such as industrial and commercial facilities. Article 250 covers grounding and bonding. It provides requirements for grounding and bonding electrical systems to ensure safety. Article 300 covers wiring methods. It provides requirements for the installation of electrical wiring, including conduit, cable, and raceways. Article 310 covers conductors for general wiring. It provides requirements for the size, type, and installation of electrical conductors. Table 310.16 provides ampacity ratings for conductors based on their size and installation type. Article 408 covers switchboards and panel boards. It provides requirements for the construction, installation, and wiring of switchboards and panel boards. Article 430 covers rotors, motor circuits, and controllers. It provides requirements for the installation and wiring of motors, motor circuits, and controllers. Article 440 covers air conditioning and refrigerating equipment. It provides requirements for the installation and wiring of air conditioning and refrigerating equipment. Article 500 covers hazardous locations. It provides requirements for the installation and wiring of electrical equipment in hazardous locations, such as areas where flammable liquids or gases are present. Article 517 covers healthcare facilities. It provides requirements for the installation and wiring of electrical equipment in healthcare facilities. Article 600 covers electric signs and outline lighting. It provides requirements for the installation and wiring of electric signs and outline lighting. Article 625 covers electric vehicle charging systems. It provides requirements for the installation and wiring of electric vehicle charging systems. Article 680 covers swimming pools, fountains, and similar installations. It provides requirements for the installation and wiring of electrical equipment in swimming pools, fountains, and similar installations. Understanding the NEC is crucial for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical installations. Always consult the latest edition of the NEC and other relevant standards when performing electrical work. When assessing potential liability, it is important to consider several factors. Firstly, the scope of work that was performed. What specific tasks were you contracted to perform? Secondly, the standard of care that was exercised. Did you perform the work in a reasonable and prudent manner, following industry standards and best practices? Thirdly, the cause of the damages or injuries. Was the damage or injury a direct result of your work, or were there other contributing factors? Fourthly, the presence of negligence. Did you fail to exercise reasonable care in performing the work, and did this failure cause the damages or injuries? Fifthly, the existence of a contract. What were the terms of the contract, and did you comply with those terms? Sixthly, the applicable laws and regulations. What laws and regulations govern the type of work that you are performing? Seventhly, the insurance coverage that is available. What insurance coverage do you have that would protect you from potential liability claims? Seeking legal advice is crucial for understanding your potential liability. Firstly, consult with an attorney who is experienced in construction law and electrical work. Secondly, provide the attorney with all relevant documents such as contracts, invoices, and inspection reports. Thirdly, discuss the specific facts of the case with the attorney and obtain their opinion on your potential liability. Fourthly, follow the attorney's advice on how to proceed. Fifthly, consider mediation or arbitration to resolve the dispute without going to court. There are various types of circuit breakers available, each with its own advantages and disadvantages. Firstly, there are thermal magnetic circuit breakers, which are the most common type of circuit breaker. They use a thermal element to trip the circuit in response to an overload and a magnetic element to trip the circuit in response to a short circuit. Secondly, there are magnetic-only circuit breakers, which only use a magnetic element to trip the circuit. They are typically used in applications where short-circuit protection is more important than overload protection. Thirdly, there are solid-state circuit breakers, which use electronic components to trip the circuit. They are more accurate and reliable than thermal-magnetic circuit breakers, but they are also more expensive. Fourthly, there are ground-fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, which are designed to protect people from electrical shock. They trip the circuit when they detect a ground fault, which is a leakage of current to ground. Fifthly, there are arc fault circuit interrupters, or SIs, which are designed to protect against fires caused by arc faults. They trip the circuit when they detect an arc fault, which is a dangerous electrical discharge. Choosing the right type of circuit breaker is crucial for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical systems. Firstly, consider the specific application and the type of protection that is needed. Secondly, select a circuit breaker that is rated for the voltage and current of the circuit. Thirdly, choose a circuit breaker that is approved by a recognized testing laboratory such as Underwriters Laboratories. Fourthly, install the circuit breaker according to the manufacturer's instructions. Fifthly, test the circuit breaker regularly to make sure that it is tripping properly. When working with electrical equipment, it is essential to follow safety precautions to protect yourself from electrical shock and other hazards. Firstly, always turn off the power to the circuit before working on it. Secondly, use insulated tools and equipment. Thirdly, wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and safety glasses. Fourthly, never work on electrical equipment when you are wet or standing in water. Fifthly, be aware of the potential hazards of electricity and take steps to avoid them. Sixthly, follow all applicable electrical codes and standards. Seventhly, if you are not comfortable working on electrical equipment, hire a qualified electrician. Eighthly, never overload circuits or extension cords. Ninthly, inspect electrical cords and equipment regularly for damage. Tenthly, replace damaged electrical cords and equipment immediately. Electrical safety is everyone's responsibility. By following these safety precautions, you can help to prevent electrical accidents and injuries. Remember to consult with a qualified electrical engineer or electrician if you have any questions or concerns about electrical safety. Also remember to always prioritize safety when working with electricity. Firstly, double check that power is off before you work. Secondly, always use the right tools. Thirdly, never take shortcuts.